Thank you for joining us, everyone. Today, I will be showcasing the Loop Experience platform, specifically its features related to segmentation of guest records, allowing you the ability to send those particular guests a targeted message via our broadcast messaging feature. In order to view a list of guest records that are currently within the Loop Experience platform, you can navigate to the My Contacts section by clicking the appropriate icon here in the left-hand toolbar. And when we do, we will be presented with a list of guest records that are currently within the Loop platform. These guest records are likely going to be refreshed based on the existing integration that we would have with your PMS system. So we would be able to see a list of historical guest records, and any new guest records as they get created would be brought into the Loop platform as well. As you can see up at the top, we have the ability for you to be able to filter these guest records in order to be able to send them a targeted message. So if I click on the Add Filter button here, we have a variety of different ways that we can actually segment or target the list of users that we wish to be able to send a message to. We can target them, of course, on the basis of their contact information, and we can target them on the basis of their arrival and departure dates, as well as additional fields such as their rate code or their reservation ID. We understand in some instances you may have specific messages that you wish to send to individuals that are arriving because of a conference that may be being conducted on site. So we do give you the ability to be able to send targeted messages on the basis of additional fields that can be imported based on the integration specified previously. To give you an example, for the purposes of this video, we will be showcasing the message being sent to a cohort of guests that are going to be arriving on the property today. So in order to identify that, we could, of course, go to the arrival date filter. And here you can see a variety of different ways and some sort of extremely detailed ways that we can filter to see a list of guest records. So we can, of course, filter to see guests arriving today. We can filter to see guests that are a certain number of days either prior to or after arrival. But for the purposes of this, if we make the arrival date today, we can go ahead and click the Submit button. And this is where we will be able to see a list of guests available that are going to be checking in today, based again on the guest records that have been imported from your PMS system. Now, of course, if we want to set up a recurring message to go out, we wouldn't want to come in and apply filters every single time. So instead, we can actually create a segment. We can actually save that as a predefined segment. And anytime we wish to send the same cohort of guests a message, we can simply choose the appropriate dropdown and then choose the segment from the dropdown. So if I choose the checking in today segment, you'll see that the arrival date filter has already been applied, and we didn't have to go through that process manually. So now that we have segmented our guests, our next step is going to be to send them a targeted message, which we can do by clicking the Create Message button in the bottom right-hand corner. Once I hit the Create Message button, we will be taken to the Compose Message screen. Loop currently allows you to send your guests either an email or a text message. In order to create an email, you can type out your message here on the left-hand side. Your text message content will go over here on the right. Of course, we only need to type out the message once because we have the ability for you to save these messages as templates and then access them in the future for ease of use. So if I click on the Checking In Today template, you'll notice both the email and text message content are pre-populated. And from here, we can now continue the process of scheduling our broadcast. On the next screen, this is where we will schedule our broadcast. We can set this up to go out as a one-time message, or we can set this up to go out on a recurring basis. Setting up a message to go out on a recurring basis is advantageous because it allows us to essentially set up a regular cadence of messages to be sent at a particular time of day, let's say on a daily basis. And then any guests that would necessarily fall into the initial segment would be targeted for that particular outreach. So a particular use case that might be useful here is, let's say you want to be able to send a message to guests on a daily basis that are checking in on that particular day. Owing to the integration that we would have with your PMS system, any guest records created there would be created within Loop, and then our system would analyze any, or to look to find any guests that may fall within the list of filters that were configured previously. And as long as they do so and fall within that filter, they would receive the appropriate message. In this particular case for the demo, I'll set this up to go out as a one-time message. And then of course, from a delivery medium standpoint, we have the ability for you to send the message in a variety of different ways, either via email or text. For the purposes of this, I will send an email, click next. And here is where we'll actually have the ability to preview the message that will be received in the event that we see any errors or any typos that we may wish to correct. We can simply navigate back a couple of screens, make our necessary edits, and then continue onward. And once we're satisfied with the message, we can simply click send. And the message, as you can see, has been sent. Very shortly, the guest is going to receive an email at the email address that they provided. And I can actually show you what that email would look like. So in this way, we have the ability to be able to engage with the guest either prior to their arrival or once they are at the property, or we can even send them a message post-stay, in other words, once they have left, if we wanted to give them the opportunity to be able to provide feedback. So here you can see on the right-hand side, the guest has received the email. As you can see, it is the content that was specified. And we give the guest a variety of different ways to be able to communicate with us. So the guest has the option of simply responding to the email if they want to continue the conversation. So over here, I'm going to go ahead and type out a reply to the email I've received. Thank you. What time is check-in? And now what this is going to do is it is going to create a conversation within the inbox, which members of your team will be notified of by our system. So our system will essentially send your team members a notification, letting them know that a new conversation has been created by a guest that needs to be resolved and actioned. Here you can see the conversation has just come through. I can click on the conversation and we'll, over here on the right-hand side, be able to see all of the relevant guest details that were pulled in through that PMS integration. So any room information, arrival and departure dates, along with contact information here. And of course, the ability for us to be able to respond to this particular guest based on the message that they provided. That covers the segmentation and broadcast feature. Thank you very much for watching.